Mr. Buckner?
Here.
Reverend Campbell? Mr. Gilstrap?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Vice Mayor Miller?
Here.
Mr. Raleigh?
Here.
Mayor Saunders?
Here.
Mr. Shanks?
Here.
Mr. Vogler?
Here.
Councilman Campbell called and will not be able to join us tonight. Tonight, please stand for the invocation. Remain standing for the pledge given tonight by Council Member J. Lee Vogler, Jr.
Bow our heads. Lord, we come to you tonight a thankful people, thankful for the opportunity to come tonight and handle the city's business, thankful to reach our destination safely tonight, thankful for Public Works employees who have spent the night and all through the day and continue to do so, cleaning the streets, plowing the snow, making our streets safe for citizens. Thankful for the utility workers who have been out this past week with power outages from wind and ice and snow, making sure people's power is restored. Thankful for all our public safety employees who have continued to work through the snow and wintry weather. Thankful for all of our citizens. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Vogler. Under communication, those who wish to speak on any item not on the agenda will be heard at this time. If you wish to speak on any agenda item, you will be heard when the item is considered. Anyone wish to speak? Thank you. Is there a motion to approve our minutes of January 20th, 2015? Mr. Raleigh, second by Mr. Jones. Discussion on the motion. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Buckner?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell? Mr. Gilstrap?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh?
Aye.
Mayor Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Vogler?
Aye.
Appointments to board and commission, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to propose resolutions appointing these persons to these boards and commissions. Resolution appointing Arthur Kraft as a member of the Dan River Alcohol Safety Action Program. Resolution reappointing Karen White as a member of the Southern Area Agency on Aging. Resolution reappointing Wanda T. Foster as a member of the Southern Area Agency on Aging. And resolution appointing Tia Yancey as a member of the Danville Redevelopment Housing Authority.
There a second, Mr. Buckner. Discussion on the motion. Madam Clerk?
Reverend Campbell? Mr. Gilstrap?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh?
Aye.
Mayor Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Vogler?
Aye.
Mr. Buckner?
Aye.
First, from adopting an ordinance appropriating the VDOT Enhancement Program Awards. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would turn council's attention to the handout you got. This is the resolution, the ordinance we're voting on. It's different from what's in your agenda. New business A, an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2015 budget appropriation ordinance for grants from the Virginia Department of Transportation in the amount of $204,828 to provide funds for extension of the north side of Riverwalk Trail from Piedmont Drive, Robertson Bridge to the intersection of Advance Street and Trade Street.
Is there a second? Mr. Raleigh, discussion of the motion.
Can explain why we have the
Yes, Mr. Larkin.
Just a minute or two before the meeting, we noticed that there was an error on the agenda, so I asked I provided an example of what should be written. Just to the mayor and vice mayor, I didn't have time to get enough for everybody. I apologize.
I'm sorry.
The local match has already been appropriated,
Right.
that's why that was taken out.
The $53,684 local match was not supposed to be in there.
And also first reading.
Right.
And if any questions or concerns come up, we can always address that. Is there a question from anyone? Concern? Discussion? Okay, first reading. And again, it'll come up again, so if you have any questions, we do have time to address that. Consideration of adopting resolution requesting Virginia Department of Transportation to reallocate revenue sharing program funds for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Bridge Trail Project. Is there a motion? Mr. Jones.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt a resolution approving a request to the Virginia Department of Transportation to reallocate revenue sharing program funds for various street maintenance and highway improvement projects.
And second, Mr. Gilstrap. Discussion on the motion. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Gilstrap?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Raleigh.
Aye.
Mayor Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Communication, Mr. Manager.
Yes, if I could, I'd like to add my appreciation to Councilman Vogler's prayer earlier. The Public Works Department are the A-team in snow removal. I think you're aware the Parks and Recreation Department also removes snow around all our facilities, the transportation folks at the airport. As Councilman Vogler noted, the utilities crews kept services running, and we haven't forgotten the water quality issue, so they maintained work on that. Most of the public interaction with the city goes through dispatchers, so they field all those calls and see that the fire, police, and other department personnel are where they're needed. With very few exceptions, there were no disruptions in service. Even solid waste schedules were kept, but with some modifications, so were bus schedules, so people could get to work. And then finally, I think we all appreciate the work by Arnold Hendricks and Mark Aaron. A tremendous amount of information was disseminated through media releases and our Radio City TV, so people were keeping informed not just about our services, but we were channeling information from the Weather Service, which is another source information. I know City Council is appreciative. I didn't estimate a guess at the percentage of our 1,134 employees that are directly involved in an incident like this, but it's a sizable percentage, and we're very appreciative.
That it?
And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney.
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Madam Clerk,
Nothing, sir.
please call the roll.
Mr. Buckner.
Yeah, I would just like to give a hats off to all the city employees who work tirelessly day and night, not just during emergencies like we've had this past week, but in every day. Just thank you so much for all the people who work really hard to make the city a great place. I'd like to thank Public Works for scraping all the roads and letting all of us get here tonight. I really appreciate that. And you know, just hats off to all those guys. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reverend Campbell. Mr. Gilstrap.
I too would like to echo what City Manager King and Councilman Buckner have indicated about all of our city employees. I think they do a marvelous job. I would like to thank the people for coming tonight. I think that's wonderful as you got out in the snow and attended council meeting. And I'm sure if you got any concerns about getting your streets clean, just call Lee Vogler.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ditto all 1,134 city employees in some way or another. Mr. King, I'm sure they were all involved in the great things that occurred on in our city this week. Last week I had the opportunity, Mr. Mayor, to visit several schools in our school system. I want to take this time to thank Mr. Withers, Jackson, and Mr. Toomer, and the fine young men at GW, gentlemen of distinction, for extending an invitation to me. Also, I'd like to say thank you to the faculty and staff for their hospitality at Bonner and Westwood middle schools. I'm always excited to talk with students, answer questions they have about issues. Mr. Mayor, lastly, I'd like to share something with all of our citizens. Sometimes there's questions about past council meetings and agendas. I would like to remind all citizens to visit our city website at www.danville-va.gov to view past council meetings or access agendas and minutes of any questions or concerns of past council meetings. If you as a citizen still have questions after viewing past council meetings, I for one invite you to contact me and my contact information on the city website. I will try to get you the answers to your questions and concerns. And lastly, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank all the faculty and staff of American National Bank for the civil rights display. It's phenomenal, and I plan to be there on Sunday. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
I'd like to commend fellow Councilman Mr. Buckner beside me for his comments on our participation in Wendell Scott's induction. I think it would have been an embarrassment had we not gone. This is our favorite son. This is somebody we're proud of. And I think it showed solidarity of the community. I mean, there was a busload of people there in addition to council. And we've got further celebrations upcoming to celebrate Wendell Scott. I know in the past I've been critical about not getting informed about issues, particularly water safety issues. We had an incident a couple of years ago. We had some water problems and we weren't informed. I think we were very well informed on this issue. It was up front. We got day-to-days. I mean, they didn't know at first what caused it, but they did eventually find out. But we were assured again and again, and the public was reassured, more importantly, that the water was safe to drink. I noticed the taste in my house. The water didn't taste right, but I was assured that it was safe to drink. So we continued to use it. I want to spotlight our rescue people. Two places, one in Blacksburg. There was a rescue yesterday. A 12-year-old and a 17-year-old fell through a pond. Swiftwater Rescue, New River Swiftwater Rescue helped rescue them. That puts them in danger. You go out on these ponds. They're not frozen solid. It puts the rescuers in danger. Yet, 2 to 3 hours later, there were 15 people walking on the same pond after this rescue occurred. Please don't put yourself at risk, and don't put these people at risk. I mean, they know it's their job and they'll do it, but use common sense. Don't put them at risk needlessly. And finally, I want to commend the hospital. Last night I left a meeting about 7:30 and snow was coming down hard. And we were told that 65 people were staying the night. These were essential people who needed to be there. These weren't the people on call. These were people who, weren't people who were on the floors. These were people who had to come in the next day or people who had to be there in case of emergency. 2 hours later, a man came in with an acute heart attack. The cath lab nurses were already there in the building. My partner got to try out his new Jeep. He was the only one that had to come in. By the time he got there, the patient had bypassed the emergency room, went straight to the heart cath lab, and got his heart artery opened and stented. So good judgment by the hospital to have these people staying in the building during an emergency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Raleigh?
Mr. Mayor, I just ditto everybody, thanking the city staff for all they've done. Streets look good on my way in. Also, I read not long ago, Jason had put out a note that this Thursday and Friday between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. that we are looking at, due to the extreme cold weather, we need everybody to kind of turn back those thermostats again. To me, a big thing is washing and drying clothes, but turning those thermostats back, because that's going to be some cold, in the zero kind of weather. So Thursday from 7 to 10 a.m. and Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. we need to shut it down as much as we can. Thanks.
That will affect our rates throughout the whole year.
Yes, yes.
Being for that day, coldest day of the year.
Thank you.
Mr. Shanks?
Thank you. One of the problems with having a name that begins in S is it gets repetitive. My apologies. I'll be brief, repetitive. Again, the city employees did a wonderful job considering the ice and the temperature and what all we had to deal with, all the way from public safety to streets, to utilities, to power especially, just very few outages. Just a wonderful job by the Public Works and Public Utilities and all city employees. Second, Mr. Raleigh has pointed out the peak power issue that occurs Thursday and Friday morning. There's an excellent link on the city's website explaining the details of why it's so important we act as a community to try to shave the peak on those 2 days, and also some suggestions on how you can help do that. So I would encourage the citizens to check out the City of Danville website for issues regarding the peak power issues on Thursday and Friday morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Vogler?
I want to thank Councilman Jones for the comments he made tonight, particularly mentioning where you can find information of previous council meetings that we've had. And while you're there, you can go back and find the origins of the joke that Councilman Gilstrap made tonight. what Councilman Tomer used to jokingly call snowplow Vogler, and so you can go back and find that. But in all seriousness, the heroes of the last day or so in the next couple of days are the public works employees, the utility employees, police officers, firefighters, first responders, those who have been out in the elements, you know, keeping us safe, keeping power running, keeping the streets clear. And as everyone here tonight has mentioned, just a big thank you from all of us to you. And thank you in advance for what you'll do. I think with the weather, the way I've looked at it the rest of this week, it looks like we may have some more on the way. So thank you in advance for what may come. And lastly, I just want to thank all the council members for making it here tonight, that we're able to make it. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor Saunders.
Thank you. I'd like to also thank the city staff, Mr. King, and also Mr. Mark Aaron. The audio is, I'm hearing very well, very well. So thank you so much for any adjustments being made on that. Also, special thanks to all of our employees for what you do all the time, most especially during emergencies and inclement weather. And we have, as been mentioned, various departments, but even staff who may not work in those departments are also support staff. They're there to support them as well, and they're on call to include opening up emergency centers, shelters, etc. So we really appreciate all of our employees, and especially those who put themselves in harm's way when we have weather like this and other conditions. Don't need to tell anyone, remind anyone about being safe in driving conditions. And coming to council meeting tonight, I was at the stoplight right in the corner of South Main and Kemper Road, waiting for the light to turn green to come up South Main Street. And I watched cars coming off of South Main turning onto Kemper. And when they made that turn, and they were just sliding, each car just slid one way or the other, and they weren't driving recklessly. It was just that the water was really ice, and it was slush in some cases no slush. It looked like water, but it was ice. So continue to be safe. No one was injured, at least while I was there. Continue to be safe, and remember, you can drive your automobile, but you cannot drive the other person's automobile. So practice defensive driving as well. And finally, Mr. King and Mr. Whitfield, as I understand it, 1996, when I first joined City Council, and I raised the question, what happened when there are scheduled council meetings and there's inclement weather and council members cannot get there? We do know that council members do not receive priorities on their street where they live. We have to wait like everyone else, and I think that's the way that it should be. We have to wait like everyone else. But I was told if there's a council meeting and we cannot get here, to call the police department. They will pick us up and take us home. Is that correct?
We will get you here one way or the other. Yeah.
On that note, meeting adjourned. I'm sorry, got more?
If you're in a police car, you'll be in the front, not the back.
Yeah, meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Be careful.